Elena Rodriguez was staring at her phone in complete disbelief. The message was from her boss, senior partner Richard Harrison. "Elena, we need to talk. My office. Now." But it wasn't just the urgency of the message that made Elena's hands tremble. It was what she saw when she looked up from her phone. Every person in the law firm was staring at her, whispering, pointing. Her assistant, Maria, approached with tears in her eyes. "Elena, I'm so sorry. Everyone's talking about it." "Talking about what?" Maria handed Elena a tablet. On the screen was the local news website. The headline read, "Prominent defense attorney's dark family secret exposed. Father was notorious cartel enforcer." Below the headline was Elena's professional headshot, next to a mugshot from 30 years ago. A man with Elena's eyes and jawline. Her father, the man she'd spent her entire adult life trying to forget. The secret she'd shared with only one person in the world. Her best friend, Sarah Mitchell. Elena's legs gave out. She collapsed into her chair as the reality hit her. Sarah had destroyed her. But this story isn't just about betrayal. It's about what happened when Elena discovered that Sarah's own secrets were far darker than anything Elena had ever hidden. And the revenge Elena orchestrated, it didn't just destroy Sarah's career. It brought down an entire network of corruption that reached the highest levels of the city's legal system. This is a story of two best friends, two devastating secrets, and how the person you trust most can become your greatest enemy. If this story truly touches your heart, let it speak for you. Like this video, subscribe to be part of our journey, and share your feelings in the comments. Let me take you back to where this friendship began. Elena Rodriguez and Sarah Mitchell met during their first week at Cromwell, Harrison & Associates, one of the most prestigious law firms in Chicago. Both were 26 years old. Both were ambitious. Both were determined to prove themselves in a male-dominated field. Elena was the daughter of Mexican immigrants. She worked 3 jobs to pay for law school, graduated summa cum laude from Northwestern, and was hungry for success. Sarah came from old money. Her father was a federal judge. Her family had connections throughout the legal system. But Sarah was determined to make her own way, not rely on family influence. They were assigned neighboring offices and immediately clicked. First day nerves. Sarah asked, noticing Elena's shaking hands before their first client meeting. Terrified, Elena admitted, "Me too. We'll figure out together." And they did figure out together. For 3 years, Elena and Sarah were inseparable. They worked late nights preparing cases, celebrated victories together, supported each other through defeats. They knew each other's dating disasters, career fears, professional insecurities. Well, almost everything. Elena had one secret she'd never shared with anyone. Her father, Miguel Rodriguez, hadn't been a construction worker she claimed. He'd been an enforcer for the Sinaloa cartel, a man responsible for dozens of deaths before he was gunned down when Elena was 8 years old. Elena's mother had changed their names and moved them to Chicago to escape that life. Elena had built her entire identity around being different from her father. She became a defense attorney partly to prove that she believed in justice and the law, everything her father had stood against. But Elena knew that if anyone discovered her father's true identity, her career would be over. No one would trust a defense attorney whose father was a cartel killer. For 3 years, Elena carried this burden alone, until Sarah proved herself to be more than just a friend. During a particularly difficult case, Elena was defending a young man accused of gang violence. The case reminded Elena too much of her father's world. She was struggling with panic attacks and couldn't focus. Sarah noticed immediately. "Elena, talk to me. What's really going on?" "I can't. You wouldn't understand." "Try me?" Sarah stayed with Elena until 3 a.m. that night, just listening and supporting her without judgment. That's when Elena realized she found something she'd never had before, a true friend. Someone who cared about her unconditionally. Someone she could trust with anything. Or so she thought. The moment Elena decided to tell Sarah the truth came during their 4th year at the firm. Both women were up for the same promotion. Senior associate, a position that came with a $300,000 salary and a clear path to partnership. Elena and Sarah had always supported each other's careers. But this was different. Only one of them could get the promotion, I hope the best person wins, Sarah said over drinks one evening. Me too, Elena replied. Whatever happens, it won't change our friendship. Never. But Elena could see the stress in Sarah's eyes. Sarah's student loans were crushing her. Her family's money was tied up in her father's judicial campaigns. Sarah needed this promotion desperately. Elena, on the other hand, was living modestly and had been saving money for years. The promotion would be nice, but it wasn't life-changing for her. That's when Elena made a decision that would change everything. She decided to tell Sarah her secret, not just to unburden herself, but to explain why she might step back from competing for promotion. Sarah, there's something I need to tell you about my past. Something that could affect my career. They were in Elena's apartment. Sarah set down her wine glass and gave Elena her full attention. You can tell me anything. Elena took a deep breath. My father was a construction worker. His name was Miguel Martilo Rodriguez. He was an enforcer for the Sinaloa cartel. He killed people, Sarah. Dozens of people. Sarah's face went white. Elena, he was murdered when I was 8. My mother changed our names and moved us here. I've been hiding this my entire life. Elena explained everything. How she'd chosen law to redeem her family name. How she lived in constant fear of discovery. How the guilt of her father's crimes haunted her every day. Sarah listened without interruption, her face showing shock, sympathy, and something else Elena couldn't quite identify. Elena, I'm so sorry you've carried this alone. I'm telling you because I trust you completely, and because I want you to have the promotion. I can't risk the background investigation that comes with senior positions. If they dig deep enough, they might discover the truth. Sarah hugged Elena tightly. You're the strongest person I know. Your father's crimes aren't your responsibility. Thank you for understanding. I'll never tell anyone. Ever. I promise. Elena felt a weight lift off her shoulders. Finally, someone knew her truth and still accepted her. She had no idea she just handed her best friend the weapon that would destroy her life. The promotion decision was announced 2 weeks later. Sarah got the position. Elena was genuinely happy for her friend. You deserve this, she told Sarah. You're going to be amazing. But Elena noticed changes in Sarah almost immediately. Sarah stopped inviting Elena to client dinners, stopped asking for Elena's input on cases. Their daily coffee meetings became weekly, then stopped altogether. Everything okay? Elena asked when she noticed Sarah avoiding her, just busy with new responsibilities. Elena understood. New positions came with adjustment periods. But then stranger things started happening. Elena would arrive at work to find that cases she'd been assigned were suddenly given to other attorneys. Clients specifically requesting Elena were told she was unavailable and reassigned to Sarah's team. Elena's office was moved from the prestigious 4th floor to the basement level. When Elena complained to senior partners, she was told the changes were temporary due to restructuring. But Elena wasn't naive. She recognized a systematic campaign to sideline her. The question was, why? The answer came during a partners' meeting Elena wasn't supposed to attend. Elena had forgotten her laptop charger and returned to the office late one evening. She heard voices in the main conference room and recognized Richard Harrison's voice. Sarah, your concerns about Elena Rodriguez are noted, but we need more than suspicions to take action. Elena froze outside the conference room door. I'm not talking about suspicions. Sarah's voice was cold and calculated. I'm talking about facts. Elena Rodriguez is not who she claims to be. What do you mean? Her father was Miguel Rodriguez, also known as El Martilo. He was a cartel enforcer responsible for dozens of murders. Elena's blood turned to ice. Sarah, these are serious allegations. Do you have proof? I'm working on gathering documentation. But think about it. Do we really want a cartel killer's daughter representing our clients? What happens when the media finds out? If what you're saying is true, we could have a major scandal on our hands. Exactly. That's why I think we need to start limiting Elena's client contact and case assignments for the protection of the firm. Elena couldn't breathe. Sarah was using Elena's deepest secret to destroy her career. The friend she'd trusted with everything was systematically dismantling her life. Over the next several months, Sarah's campaign against Elena escalated. Elena found herself excluded from important meetings. Her cases were reassigned without explanation. Clients began requesting different attorneys. But Sarah was careful. She never directly confronted Elena or made obvious moves that could be traced back to her. Instead, Sarah planted seeds of doubt about Elena's background with partners and colleagues. Have you noticed Elena seems stressed lately? I heard Elena's family history might be complicated. Are we sure Elena's background check was thorough? Elena could feel the walls closing in, but she couldn't prove Sarah was behind it. Then came the day that nearly broke Elena completely. Elena was presenting a case to a new client, Maria Santos, a young mother accused of drug trafficking. In the middle of Elena's presentation, Maria suddenly looked terrified. "You're Miguel Rodriguez's daughter." Elena's heart stopped. I don't know what you mean. El Martillo. My uncle told me stories. You have his eyes. The client meeting ended abruptly. Within hours, Maria had fired Elena and hired a different firm. That evening, Elena confronted Sarah directly. "I know what you're doing." Sarah looked up from her computer with innocent surprise. "What are you talking about?" "You're destroying my career. You're using what I told you in confidence." "Elena, I think you're being paranoid. Maybe you should consider taking some time off." "Don't play games with me, Sarah. I trusted you, and I've kept your trust. I haven't told anyone your secret." Sarah's voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. "But I can't control what other people might discover through their own research. Maybe it's time you considered that your past was always going to catch up with you." Elena realized the full scope of Sarah's betrayal. This wasn't just about a promotion or jealousy. Sarah was systematically destroying Elena's life while maintaining plausible deniability. That night, Elena made a decision. If Sarah wanted to play games with secrets, Elena would show her what a real secret looked like. Elena spent the next 3 weeks doing what she did best: investigating. If Sarah was willing to destroy Elena over family history, Elena reasoned that Sarah must have her own vulnerabilities. Elena started by examining Sarah's recent cases more carefully. What she found was disturbing. In the past year, Sarah had won several high-profile cases with surprisingly light sentences for clients who should have faced serious jail time. Drug dealers getting probation instead of prison. White-collar criminals receiving community service instead of federal time. Violent offenders pleading down to misdemeanors. Elena dug deeper into the case files and discovered a pattern. All of Sarah's clients with suspiciously light sentences had one thing in common. They were represented by the same bail bondsman, Marcus Webb. Elena researched Marcus Webb and found connections to several judges, including Sarah's father, federal judge Robert Mitchell. Elena realized she might be looking at a bribery network, but she needed proof. Elena began following Sarah after work. She documented Sarah's meetings with Marcus Webb at expensive restaurants. Elena hired a private investigator to photograph these meetings and track financial transactions. What the investigation revealed was shocking. Sarah wasn't just taking bribes to fix cases. She was laundering money through her father's judicial campaigns. Marcus Webb would pay Sarah's legal fees to fake clients. Sarah would then donate that money to Judge Mitchell's campaign fund. Judge Mitchell would ensure favorable outcomes for Webb's real clients. It was an elegant system that had generated millions in illegal income. But Elena needed one more piece of evidence to make her case bulletproof. She needed to record Sarah admitting to the scheme. Elena arranged to meet Sarah for drinks, wearing a concealed recording device. "Sarah, I've been thinking about what you said, about my past catching up with me. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I should consider leaving the firm." Sarah smiled with false sympathy. "I think that would be best for everyone. The thing is, I need money to start over. And I know you've been doing very well lately." Sarah's expression changed. "What are you implying?" "I'm not implying anything. I'm asking directly. I know about Marcus Webb. I know about the cases. I know about your father." Sarah's face went white. "You don't know anything. I know everything. The question is, are you going to help me transition out quietly, or do we both go down together?" Sarah was quiet for a long moment. Then she made a fatal mistake. Fine, I can arrange something, but this stays between us. Of course, the web arrangement has been very profitable. I suppose I could spare some funds to help you relocate. Sarah had just confessed to running a bribery scheme on tape. Elena had everything she needed. Elena didn't go to the firm partners with her evidence. She didn't confront Sarah privately. Instead, Elena did something much more devastating. She went to the FBI. Agent Jennifer Martinez was fascinated by Elena's evidence. This is one of the most comprehensive corruption cases I've seen. You've documented everything perfectly. I want to make sure justice is served. Are you willing to testify? Absolutely. The FBI investigation moved quickly. They obtained warrants for Sarah's financial records, phone records, and communications with Marcus Webb. They placed surveillance on Judge Mitchell and documented his participation in the bribery scheme. Within 6 weeks, the FBI was ready to move. The arrests happened simultaneously. Sarah was taken into custody at the law firm in front of all the partners and colleagues who had been whispering about Elena's background. Marcus Webb was arrested at his office. Judge Mitchell was arrested at his home. The local news media covered the story extensively. Federal corruption ring exposed, prominent attorney, and judge arrested in bribery scandal. The story detailed how Sarah Mitchell had been fixing cases for years while using Elena Rodriguez as a scapegoat to deflect attention from her own crimes. Elena's background was mentioned in the coverage, but in a completely different context. The investigation was initiated by Elena Rodriguez, a dedicated attorney who discovered the corruption network and cooperated fully with federal authorities despite personal risk to her career. Elena was portrayed as a hero who had sacrificed her own position to expose corruption. The truth about her father's past became irrelevant compared to her integrity in exposing judicial corruption. Sarah's trial was devastating for her defense. Elena's recordings were played in court. Financial records showed millions in illegal transactions. Dozens of cases were revealed to have been fixed through bribes. Sarah was convicted on multiple federal charges: bribery, money laundering, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. She was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Judge Mitchell received 20 years and was stripped of his judicial position. Marcus Webb got 12 years and was ordered to pay millions in restitution. Elena's career, meanwhile, was transformed. If you made it all the way here, it means this story truly held you. So don't leave without showing some love. Hit like, subscribe to stay with us, and drop a comment. I'll be here, reading every word you share. The corruption scandal that Elena exposed became one of the biggest legal stories of the decade. Elena was hailed as a whistleblower who had risked everything to expose judicial corruption. Cromwell, Harrison, and Associates, desperate to repair their reputation, offered Elena a senior partnership with a starting salary of $500,000. Elena turned it down. Instead, she started her own practice specializing in representing clients who had been victims of corrupt prosecutors and judges. Her first clients were people whose cases had been affected by the Mitchell-Webb bribery network. Elena's background, once her greatest vulnerability, became her greatest strength. Her experience with both sides of the law, growing up around crime and choosing justice, gave her unique insight into defending clients caught in corrupt systems. Elena's practice grew rapidly. She became known as the attorney who couldn't be bought, intimidated, or corrupted. 5 years later, Elena Rodriguez is one of the most respected attorneys in Chicago. She's represented hundreds of clients failed by corrupt systems. She's exposed 3 additional corruption networks. She's testified before Congress about judicial reform. Elena also started a nonprofit organization that provides legal services to families affected by organized crime. People like her mother who needed help escaping violent situations. Sarah Mitchell, meanwhile, is serving her sentence in federal prison. According to prison records, she's applied for early release 3 times. Each application has been denied. Elena learned that Sarah had tried to contact her multiple times through prison correspondence. Elena never responded. Some betrayals are unforgivable. But Elena's story isn't really about revenge. It's about transformation. Elena discovered that her greatest weakness, her family's secret, could become her greatest strength when she chose to use it to help others rather than hide from it. She learned that true friendship isn't about sharing secrets. It's about supporting each other's growth and success without jealousy or betrayal. Most importantly, Elena proved that integrity is more powerful than corruption. When Sarah tried to destroy Elena using her past, Elena chose to build her future on truth and justice. And in the end, that choice didn't just save Elena's career, it saved her soul. Today, when young attorneys ask Elena how to handle workplace betrayal, she tells them, don't try to hide who you are. Use who you are to become who you're meant to be. Because sometimes the secrets we're most ashamed to contain the seeds of our greatest purpose. And sometimes the people who try to destroy us end up showing us exactly how strong we really are. Elena Rodriguez trusted her best friend with her biggest secret. Sarah Mitchell used that trust to try to destroy her. But in trying to destroy Elena, Sarah revealed her own corruption and ultimately destroyed herself. Justice, Elena learned, has a way of finding balance, even when it takes a little help from someone brave enough to seek the truth.